Y'all? You are watching Marvel live here at New York Comic Con 2017. I'm Ryan Panagos, aka Marvel's Agent M.
I'm Lorrance, and we're joined by author Ronald L. Smith. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me here.
Well, we were just talking, and you said this is your first Comic Con. Is that true?
It is, it is. I am a certified big nerd, geek. I love all this stuff, but somehow I've just never made it to the big ones. So I'm having a blast.
Well, I'm glad that you could be here with us. You, of course, wrote this book.
Yeah, have you been to like BookCon and stuff?
BookCon, yeah, festivals, literary festivals, other smaller sci-fi.
I'm sure there's
things.
huge cosplay at BookCon, like.
Not as much as here. So.
No.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
there's never as much as
here's
here.
pretty intense. Yeah, but you wrote a book.
Yeah,
for
Black,
us.
I
Black
wrote a book.
Panther, the
Yes.
young prince.
It's very exciting.
So, I mean, let's just get into it. T'Challa has a really interesting story because he's not just in Wakanda.
Right. No, I guess I can say what the body copy flap cover reveals.
Yes.
Safe.
And, you know, this is the story of young T'Challa. You know, who is he before he becomes the Black Panther? So we wanted to tell a story about him as a kid. And we see some of Wakanda, but then we also see the young prince, T'Challa, in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, which is an interesting kind of stranger in a strange land kind of situation, because even though he's a prince and he's wealthy and he has all this privilege, his life is kind of really pretty sheltered. So what is it like for a kid with his background and his family history and all of this destiny that's heaped upon him to be someplace where he has to remain anonymous because something's going on in Wakanda? Can't tell you what it is yet, but he has to be sent away.
Intrigue. And I like it that it's not just like, okay, you're a prince of the most advanced nation on the planet. We're going to send you to a really great school, and it's going to be wonderful. It's like, no, you're going to like slip under the radar. You're going to sort of live how the normal folks in America live.
Right.
And in Chicago, in this area, like, it's not like he's not getting all the amenities that he would be used to.
No, it's not Little Lord Fauntleroy's School of Privilege.
Although
I
it's a
mean,
pretty great school.
Yeah, well, it
my
is, but
favorite
they want you know, T'Chaka, his father, wants him to get to know the common people, you know, not only in Wakanda, but throughout the world. So that's why he goes to this kind of Southside Chicago school, which is still a good school, but it's not what he would expect. So he has to learn some lessons there, and there's some bad stuff going down there, of course, and he finds himself wrapped up in it. And
Ain't
lots
that
of
the
cool
case?
stuff
I
happens.
know.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned T'Chaka. There's also some Marvel characters that people might recognize, but maybe some new characters potentially.
Right. Well, the wonderful folks at Disney Marvel Press, you know, they gave me this opportunity. And, you know, there's a lot to learn if you're not big on Black Panther. Obviously, I knew a lot. Well, not a lot, but I mean, I knew a pretty good amount because I'm a big fan. But it's kind of an origin story in a way that doesn't necessarily tie in with the movie, but I was able to create my own story. So you see, you know, T'Challa and Baku, you know, some of the people from Wakanda. There's mention of the older mythology. But then there's also the school friends that T'Challa makes. So they're new characters. And then the antagonist, Gemini Jones, is my invention. So I hope people will like it. It's a lot of fun and, you know, great opportunity.
And so we were talking beforehand, and I was like, is it Gemini Jones, an established character? Because you did such a great job making such a perfectly Marvel name.
Yes.
Like Gemini
Oh,
Jones, that
wonderful.
alliteration, that feeling of a classic
good.
Marvel character name.
Yeah,
It just,
yeah.
And I was like searching my brain, like, I'm stumped, which
Oh, that's cool.
You
Because
can
once
get
you're
a-
into that world, you feel those names and all the alliteration and the vocabulary of the world.
Yeah, he can go get a job working for Scorpio in the Marvel Universe a little later on in life. And speaking of Gemini, we know some teasers that there's potentially some dark magic, and you have dark magic in a lot of your work. What is it about dark magic that you find interesting?
Wow, that's a good question. Young T'Challa does find something happening that could be dark magic. Is it dark? Is it magic?
I don't know.
Is it science? Is it technology run amok? Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But I think, you know, I write literature for young people, and, you know, I think that I grew up on that kind of stuff in comic books and fantasy books and sci-fi books. So magic, dark magic, kind of there's something within all of us that's kind of the dark side, right? So what happens when you tap into that? You know, is it tempting? It's not just totally black and white. There could be something, there could be a pull that really wants to tempt you into this kind of stuff. So I just like exploring that, you know, dark magic, you know, black magic, hoodoo, whatever. So I hope that answered.
I know, I love that.
Yeah, so you mentioned, you know, you've been a big fan of Black Panther. Do you have a favorite run from the many years of Black Panther, a favorite creative team? Like, I think, you know, Christopher Priest's run for me is seminal in Marvel Comics.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I really like I like everything. The Reginald Hudlin stuff.
Yeah, Reginald's
cool.
great.
I love it all.
Yeah.
I love it all.
Yeah, and the current stuff, we're doing some interesting things with Black Panther and with the mythology. So you mentioned a little bit of some of like the older characters. Do you get into any of the mythology behind the Black Panther in the book?
Well, you know, a little bit. I mean, that's why I wanted to open it up in Wakanda, so you get a real sense of the country and what it's like. And so, you know, you kind of hint at that stuff. It's in the background. It's a backdrop. We spend a little bit of time there, not a whole lot, but I did really want to paint a picture of what this country's like, you know, why it is the way it is, you know, talk about vibranium and the heart-shaped herb and all the kind of mystical stuff. So to kind of lay down a foundation for what this country is really about and who T'Challa and the Black Panther clan is really about.
Sure.
You know, I'm always really interested. Black Panther, you know, there are different creators that create him. There is an actor portraying him. Where do you think you find T'Challa's voice in yourself? Is there someone you think of when you think of his voice? Is it just something innate in you?
I was thinking of myself because you know, I think I am the Black Panther. So
really, good.
No, I mean, you know, you just want to try to somehow tap into that mythology and that culture and just do the best job you can. I mean, it helps if you know something about it. It helps that you know, I had all of the resources of Marvel. I could just reach out and ask them a question. And like, no, T'Challa wouldn't say that, or no, this is the way it works. So, you know, when you have all that information, it's up to the author to just try to distill it into something that people will relate to.
Well, I love that so much. Where can people find you online?
My Twitter is @RonSmithBooks. And my website is strangeblackflowers.com.
Ooh, I like that as a
that is
URL.
Good. One last real quick question. In writing this and preparing for the book, have you watched anything for the film? Like, have you seen the teasers, the posters or anything? Or are you trying to keep like a total...
I've seen the trailer for, I don't know, 5,000 times.
Yep.
I wish I had some kind of extra clout, but they've got a lid on it. And I haven't seen anything else. I did get a little bit of stuff. Research-wise, not necessarily visual, but written. So, but no, I'm salivating for the movie, and I can't wait for it to come out.
We are too. Well, we actually are going to check out a dance-off that happened over on the Marvel stage. So let's take a look at that right now.
Thank you, Ron.